Welcome to the Pines.
This place isn't half bad now, is it?
This inn is about spending quality time with the people that you love, because you never know just how limited that time is. Showtime! I would be remiss if I didn't welcome our 4 all-stars. More kills equals more points. Creativity counts. Let's play ball!
Hello there, my name is Chris, you're watching Cinemaniac Central, and as my first annual Cineslashathon continues, we're going to talk about Stream. This is the newest horror thriller that is from the makers of Terrifier 2 and Terrifier 3. Now, real quick before I get into my thoughts on Stream, I want to apologize for the delay of my Terrifier 3 review. I have not yet made it to the theater to check that out. This past weekend I came down with a cold, so I'm still trying to fight that right now. As you can probably tell, my sinuses aren't all that clear. And so if I cough in the middle of this review, that's the reason why. So I apologize, and hopefully I'll be able to go see that this weekend, and hopefully you'll get that review soon. So with Stream, we have this family, the Keenans, who are trying to take some time to, some family time. So they book a vacation, book this hotel, book a stay at this hotel in Pennsylvania, I believe, and for some much needed family time. So unfortunately, they find themselves among the guests that are being hunted down by these 4 players in this twisted game in which the odds are stacked against them. So yeah, this movie came out in August. It was a limited release. I wanted to see this in the theater, but I was unable to because it didn't come to my theater. Yeah, the closest theater it came to was an hour away, and it was like for one night. And I just couldn't get to the theater to see it, so I had to wait until it came out on streaming. So I figured it would come out in October for just in time for Halloween, so that way I could check it out then. And it just hit streaming today. So, yeah, I was excited to check this out, knowing that it was from the makers of Terrifier 2 and Terrifier 3, and it also stars David Howard Thornton, who is best known for his portrayal of Art the Clown, and also Danielle Harris is in this, Jeffrey Combs. So it has a really good cast here, and so having seen it, I really enjoyed it. I really did. I had a lot of fun with it. It's definitely... You can definitely tell that it's from the makers of the Terrifier movies. It has that Terrifier aesthetic to it, especially when it comes to the kills. And there are some pretty bloody kills. If you want some carnage, there's plenty of blood here. It's not near as on the same level as the Terrifier movies, but there are a few kills in here that are pretty gnarly. There's one in particular that happens toward the end of the movie that was pretty gruesome. And so, yeah, I really like that. And so, yeah, when it comes, starting off with the positives, performance-wise, I mean, Danielle Harris is great in this. I loved her in this movie. I loved her in this. I couldn't help but compare this movie to Natty Knox, which came out last year, in which she and I think Robert Englund is supposed to be in that. I think the marketing was kind of hyping it up a little bit for the fact that Danielle Harris and Robert Englund were supposed to be in it for a good bit. But having watched it, they didn't have a whole lot to do in that movie. That was really disappointing. Between Danielle Harris, I know Danielle Harris played a mom in that movie, but she only had like a few minutes of screen time. Same with Robert Englund, I think he was wasted in that movie. And so, but having watched this, I think Danielle Harris had a more prominent role in it as this mother, as part of this family who's the mother, and I thought she was really good in it. You also have Jeffrey Combs, who is kind of like the head of this whole game that's being played at this hotel. He's really good. I think he's a major standout in here. His character very much reminds me of Would You Rather with Brittany Snow. I thought he was really good in that. And so, yeah, his character reminded me very much of that. The father of this family, Charles Edwin Powell, I thought he was pretty good. He played like this loving father. He loved his wife. He loved his kids. Really protective over them, and I thought he was really good in this movie. As far as standout performances, Tim Reid is in here also. I thought he was really good too. The son, I thought he was okay. He was fine. The daughter, on the other hand, I'll get to her in a minute in my negatives. But yeah, and then the final standout for me is David Howard Thornton. David Howard Thornton in here. There's 4 killers. Okay, they're labeled as players. You have player 1, player 2, player 3, player 4. David Howard Thornton is player 2. And for me, he is easily the standout. And obviously, I think the creators of this movie wanted to make that obvious, because his character, I think he stands out because he literally kind of dances his way throughout this movie, because he uses like little hand movements and shit, and he kind of just dances and prances his way throughout this hotel and everything, killing people, and he definitely brings that Art the Clown bravado that he does so well. So David Howard Thornton, I think, totally nails his performance there. And then you have player 1, who's kind of like the main leader of the killers, sort of. Doesn't really have a distinct personality per se. And then player 3 is the female killer of the group. She just kind of twirls her hair and just has that kind of prissy, kind of girlish way, Nothing really standing out of this there. And then you have this kind of big hulking muscular killer, that's player 4. So it's that usual stereotypical big guy. So it's easy for David Howard Thornton's character to kind of stand out there. And then the kills, like I said before, the kills in here are pretty bloody, pretty gory. There's plenty of carnage candy in here. Some of them are kind of standard, formulaic, plain Jane kills. Again, and then some of them are actually pretty gnarly, pretty cool. So now on to the negatives, and I mentioned the daughter before in regards to the family. Yeah, I didn't care for her character at all. Her personality. She's that stereotypical rebellious teenager type that's just got to have her way. Didn't really care for her character all that much. The movie definitely does drag a little bit. It does take a bit for the action to kind of get going. The movie is 2 hours and 3 minutes. I think it is a little bit long. I think about 15 minutes or 15 or 20 minutes could have been shaved off, to kind of condense it down a little bit. One other thing, though, I thought was kind of interesting, I didn't mention in my positives, Mark Holton is also in this. He has kind of a smaller part, it's not as big as some of the others, but it was kind of cool to see him in this. His character in this movie is Oswald Hansen, and so I didn't piece that together when he first showed up early on in the movie, but then later on, about midways, Jeffrey Combs' character, and this might be a spoiler, not really a spoiler, it's just when you watch the movie, it's nothing really big, but Jeffrey Combs' character calls him Ozzy. And at first, early on in the movie, it didn't occur to me, but when he called him Ozzy, I'm like, holy shit, could he be the same? Could this be the same character as, his same character as in Leprechaun? Because I don't think in Leprechaun they revealed his last name. I think they just called him Ozzy. And so I'm thinking, even though his character dies in Leprechaun Returns, which is which came out in 2018, which is a direct continuation of the original. I'm just thinking, I wonder if that's actually kind of a character that maybe just be an homage to his character in the original, because his character dies in Leprechaun Returns. And my last negative is when it comes to some of the casting. Some of the heavy hitters that are announced are supposed to be in this. Some of them have pretty decent sized parts. Some of them are very, very small, or really just cameos for maybe a couple of minutes, maybe less. And I feel like that was just kind of wasted. That I just don't think that their presence is really necessary because we just didn't get a lot of time with them. Yeah, I didn't think that it was necessary to have some of these actors appear if they didn't really add anything to the movie. So yeah, that's just my opinion though. So it was cool to see that. It was cool to see them, and just they didn't add anything to the story because everything was pretty much over, and it just didn't really amount to much. Other than that, I really enjoyed Stream. This is definitely worth the wait. Overall, I'm gonna give it an 8. I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. What the hell? It's a hell of a lot of fun. Great cast. Great gory kills. Loved it. Loved Jeffrey Combs in it. Danielle Harris. Tim Reid. David Howard Thornton especially. They were all great. But that's just my thoughts on Stream. If you've seen it, what did you think of it? Comment down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe if you haven't already. I love you guys. You guys are the best. And I will see you next time.